Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? Hello? Say yes, you can hear me in the chat if you can. It's a pleasure to see you all. It's a pleasure to see you all. Yeah, so I will be running the AMA today by myself. Mache is out at the moment. Um, so I am actually the one learning how to use the streaming software today. So that's why we have a different theme. Yes, and so I am currently working on figuring out how to get my face to show at the moment. So please just give me one moment real quick and then we'll get this show on the road. Let's see what we can do. Okay, you know what? I think let me see real quick. Give me a moment. I think I know how I need to do this. Are you all able to see me right now? Here, sorry guys. Try just Yes, loud and clear. Okay, so you guys see me in the lower corner and you can see my screen. I hope so. You guys hear me twice, is what you're saying? Hotel room is going quite well actually. I can give you a show real quick. Give you a little So this is my AC unit, but as we got right here, we have a little bit of a leak. I don't know if you guys can see that. And go outside real quick. So just to show you guys, I don't know if you can see, but yeah. So I'm here at the moment in Pakistan. Just give you a little vlog of my journey. So yes, I'm in the center of Karachi right now at the moment. And yeah, you can see the water tanks, everything. I'm at the heart of the city. I'll head back inside now though. You have to fight with the mosquitoes a little bit though. So that's the one unfortunate thing, but we we do what we do when we're on a mission, right? So, okay, I think you all were able to see that. So I'll just dive right into it. And my Windows taskbar. Yes, I know you can see my Windows taskbar at the moment. Um, like I said, I just set this up. Mache couldn't join us today, so I haven't perfected my streaming setup at the moment. So yeah, you can you can see my coding environment and everything I have set up here for now. But okay, if everyone can hear me, then let's get started. So today's update is this is April 22nd, 2024, or April 21st, 2024 at 9 p.m. Central European Standard Time. And today we are talking about the forms update, and I'm going to go over the UI UX of the forms and show you guys how to interface with it. I'll explain publicly why we're building our own solution from the ground up instead of using, pre-made solutions because, they've existed for years. So let's get started, guys. So with the app check-in, obviously, this is the final UI of what the forms are going to look like. The database right now, just because I don't have time to, come up with what the actual form categories are going to be, I actually will. That's one thing I want to have for you guys. If anything, I please come up with like categories for the discussion. So, certain forms, there's obviously general discussion. Some people are like, hey, I want to talk about movies. Some people want to talk about cleanups. Maybe there should be like a segment by country, etc., etc. We'll add all those in. But obviously, since I'm in development and we're testing, I'm not going to spend the time to type all that out right now. In this update, you're also getting the ability to sell Aquari and send it out to any BNB address of your choice. So what happens is you'll be able to sell Aquari using the internal wallet that will convert to BNB, and you can send the BNB out to an exchange or a separate wallet. So the reason why we are making it send BNB and not Aquari is just because certain users, we want to make sure certain users that are less crypto experienced, we don't want them to think that, hey, you can send Aquari to an exchange that doesn't support Aquari. That would be like bad. So this is to make it foolproof. If that user sends it to a wallet that's in their control, whether that be an exchange account or an account that they own, yeah, they'll be able to receive it. We want them sending Aquari to Binance, and Binance is like, we don't support Aquari. Goodbye, you lost your Aquaris. So that's the reason the feature is being made in that way. And I would also like to add that we have entered the Q2 Binance Hackathon. So we lost the first category, and this time we're going to go in and do things right. So the Binance Hackathon, actually, let me bring a link with this open for you. Hold on, let me hide this for a bit. You guys should still be able to hear me. There's some sensitive information we don't want people to see here. Okay. We should be able to go from here. So we can bring this back. There we go. Let's see what we got here. Okay, so this is the Q2 hackathon, and basically what I just go over the challenge tracks. So in the last hackathon, these tracks were the same. Binance has an AI track. They want crypto projects at the intersection of AI. DPIN. This is what we entered into last time, but in talks with Binance, even though Aquari is a decentralized infrastructure network in terms of coordinating human capital and labor to get things done, uh, Binance, how do I say, the judges here, they kind of want to see the full thing in action before they're willing to give the benefit of doubt to a project, because in crypto anyone can say stuff, but seeing the execution is another thing. So there's that. There's the gaming track, and they all Binance has now put challenges. Basically, these are ideas of projects that Binance would like to see. So you can see for in the gaming track, um, OPBNB is one of Binance's product offerings, like BSC. But basically, OPBNB allows projects to create their own layer 2. So BSC is the main blockchain, but just how like Ethereum has their layer 2 scaling in their roadmap, and you have like Base, Optimism. I forget another layer 2 chain, but you got ZK Sync, etc. Um, in the Binance ecosystem, they want to scale BSC or BNB chain, but instead of just having other layer 2 side chains, they have this thing called OPBNB, where it's like, for example, Aquari in the future, if we decided it, if we scale to a certain level, we could have our own side chain underneath BNB, and they make it really easy to like build that. So that's like a whole independent blockchain. To be quite honest, given our product requirements and as we've delved into the technical design of everything, we don't see a need for a side chain. It's just extra work when everything for now, given the fees on BNB chain, it gets the job done. So what Binance really wants is they want a on-chain game utilizing a side chain. OPBNB side chain is what this is asking for. And obviously these side chains have low costs and high performance for transactions. What they mean by low cost is like even lower cost than BSC. So for example, they're thinking of like 0.00001 euros per transaction. It's really, really, really cheap. And obviously, yeah, they want a game that uses Web3 to increase the game's playability and attractiveness for gamers. So I already explained all of this. It's challenge 4. Now challenge 4, middleware service for dynamic NFT image content updates. Let me see, visual representation. So if OPBNB is Binance's sidechain offering, BNB Greenfield, what BNB Greenfield is the best way I could describe it is, on the current internet, all of our data are stored on databases. But these databases are owned by a certain entity. So think about it. If you have a Facebook account, there are databases that are owned by Mark Zuckerberg and Facebook, and they basically have that central store of truth for all the data that runs on Facebook. If you're using Instagram, same thing. If you're using Airbnb, etc., any website, the owner of the website has full access and control over the data, and they can edit it at will. So theoretically, say you made a Facebook post, there's nothing stopping Zuckerberg from going into the database and say you made a post that said, I like this political party, and here are the reasons why. There's nothing stopping Zuckerberg right now from going into his Facebook admin panel, seeing your post in a database and just clicking delete and editing and saying, I like the opposite political party, and here are the reasons why, and then changing it. And then if no one, knew the previous post, people would think, hey, that was what you literally said. So even if you deleted it, it looks bad on you. Obviously, companies don't do that because of legal liability. But in terms of like the technicals of everything, um, this is very feasible, and this is what just comes with having a centralized source of truth. So every service on the internet that you use right now operates this way, including your email. So BNB Greenfield is supposed to be the solution to this problem where, okay, blockchains are basically decentralized ledgers that manage transactions, etc., etc. But okay, you can have decentralized protocols using Solidity and running programs, on the blockchain. But that's all fine if we don't have, but we still run into a problem is, okay, how do we store the permanent results of those calculations? We need to have a decentralized way to store data as well, a trustless database, so imagine if in the future, a Facebook or a Twitter where when you make a post, it's on the internet forever and no one can theoretically change it or take it down. That's actually another thing. Think about when you're getting censored. If you post something that is against company guidelines or, against government guidelines, there's nothing stopping from the government to come in and forcing that company to say, hey, wipe that off your database. BNB Greenfield basically levels the playing field by just how like Satoshi Nakamoto with Bitcoin created a decentralized ledger that cannot be changed by any central entity. Binance has created tooling that allows people to run decentralized networks that store data that cannot be deleted and stored in an immutable service. So what this means is, for example, imagine your email inbox. You could have maybe not email. Imagine a social media service that runs on BNB Greenfield. Instead of Facebook's model where Zuckerberg has the keys and he can just go and change things or censor you by just wiping it and it never existed, a social media platform that runs on BNB Greenfield, once the post is made, it's forever. There are decentralized validators running across the globe, seeing that this is permanent. This happened. This is in the recorded history of the chain. It is not. This data can always be pulled up. This post, as it was written, can always be pulled up. Can't be edited. Boom. Now, obviously, that's good for certain use cases, but that's bad for others because okay, well now you can't. There's no such thing as deleting. You can't edit. But hey, there are uses for this technology, so it was built. So another way to say it is BNB Greenfield is Binance's version of IPFS, the Filecoin. For those of you that don't know what IPFS is, that's called the Interplanetary File System. That's a Web3 project that's been here since the 2010s, that decade, and that hooks into the Ethereum ecosystem and offers decentralized storage. So this is just Binance catching up and offering decentralized storage options, but for their siloed ecosystem. So right now, NFTs, believe it or not, the metadata is stored on chain, like on Ethereum, on BNB chain, or Solana. But the actual image, on the chain, it's just a link. Right now, NFTs are a link pointing to an image. And the thing is, the image, the metadata is decentralized, but the actual image, the actual pixels that should be drawn, those are pointed to centralized databases currently. So theoretically, you could own an NFT right now, and okay, yeah, this is my image. But the thing is, that image is pointing to a traditional centralized server. That image is stored there. So personally, what could happen is, say you got this green Bored Ape NFT. Um, but there's like another one with a yellow background. Let's say the green one is NFT number 1 and the yellow one is NFT number 2. Theoretically, right now, what can happen is Bored Ape Yacht Club's team could switch. They could switch the yellow and green background apes with the metadata. So they can make the green one number 2 and the yellow one number 1. But you're like, I own the green one. But you see what I mean? Is even though the right now the pointer is decentralized, but the actual thing that it's being pointing to is not decentralized. So BNB Greenfield is useful because, for example, now the pointer data will still be on chain as it currently is, but instead of pointing to a regular web server, which is centralized, you can point to something that's stored on the BNB Greenfield network. And since that's decentralized, no one can change that NFT data. You can be sure that, hey, I truly own this piece of data. So sorry for going on that whole ramble about BNB Greenfield, but the reason I talk about that is because that's one of the main topics of today, which I will go into later. So that's category 4. DeFi track, I don't really need to go into that. Real world assets are just basically, hey, you can tokenize the value of real world assets, things that exist in the real world. Go to all these. DSoc. This stands for decentralized social media. And this is basically projects that, in Web 2, social platforms, hey, utilize Web 3, make Web 3 equivalents or make Web 3 native social media that isn't possible with Web 2. So Binance wants a decentralized social network. They basically are like, hey, build an Instagram, build a Twitter, build a Facebook, or build whatever, but using our BNB Greenfield technology. And the reason for that is, as I told you before, when explaining Greenfield, this is social media that is uncensorable. Users own their data, and yeah, it's truly a free platform. Social graph middlewares, I don't really need to go explain this, but there's this idea in Web3 of having interoperability. Since you own your data, you should be able to transfer that data anywhere. So it's the idea that, like, in the future, you can move things that are on Twitter into Facebook, or Facebook things into, I don't know, any other like Web3 application. What that looks like, no one knows yet, but since that's like theoretically possible, there's like pressure to build that. Video streaming, I don't really need to get into this, but basically, just a peer-to-peer network that ensures live streaming is done in a decentralized way. There's the infrastructure track. I don't need to go into all this, but yeah, so these are the tracks. And the thing is last hackathon, we entered into the DePIN track. And even though we are DePIN, that's the overarching vision, since in Web3, the idea of coordinating humans and human capital is such a very early and honestly niche area that we are kind of pioneering in by ourselves. As far as I'm concerned, I don't really see many Web3 projects working on the initial problem of using tokens to actually motivate people to perform physical labor in the real world yet. It's coming though, but I think part of it's because when people think of coordinating human capital, it's like, okay, what am I going to coordinate? If I run a media company, I'm going to coordinate video editors using tokens. Like, what benefit is that? Or what am I running a gold mine? Okay, am I going to pay my workers use it? Like you get what I mean? It's like there's a traditional company doesn't really have use for that. But in our case, with the whole on-chain environmental conservation initiative and turning this work from non-profit to for-profit work, we actually have a use case. And that use case stems from the fact that, non-profits or this entire sector actually currently isn't treating its volunteers like laborers and paying them the value that's needed. So anyway, I'm rambling, but essentially in this D-pin track, it's too early for Binance to recognize the value we bring. So what that brings me to is, what track will we enter in this time? Well, after much deliberation, Manche and I have actually talked and have determined that it's actually strategic. Sorry, I'm checking the message right now. There we go. Manche is just giving me a compliment. He just texted me. I admire your adaptability. And he's quite uh, happy that I was able to get this live stream working on such a short notice. But yeah. So the desocial track. The reason why we decided that we could enter into this track is because, given the product roadmap and what we're building right now, um, we're building forums for our own use case. Because hey, as a DAO, going through all these Telegram chat messages is too fast. You need something that's slower, pace of discussion. People can be more thought out, and also like, okay, hey, if people are talking about the Belgium cleanup, I need to go to the Belgium cleanup thread. If people are talking about, hey, we need to increase the budget, for marketing, I need to go to the increase the budget for marketing thread, etc., etc. We can have multiple conversations simultaneously and like coordinate, and this will just allow us to scale horizontally. Because right now the main bottleneck is all the information right now has to flow between Mache and I, and us being two humans, it just doesn't scale. So that's why we're building out the forums. But an opportunity came out in building the forum. That's essentially a form of social network. For internet forums, if you remember I was really a young kid, but I've been given internet access since I was like age 6. Don't know if I call that good parenting or not. I think in my case it was a good thing, because I was always curious about seeing the world and whatnot, and I knew how to judge what was good and bad. My parents instilled good vibes in me. But yeah, I remember internet forums from the early 2000s, and those were the original social networks. You know, kind of missed that era of the internet because, hey, like, if I have a specific car or if I have a specific product, I can just go to the forum for that, and boom, there's a whole community of people using that. Right now, I have to go to a subreddit, but Reddit. I mean, Reddit's Reddit, guys. It's not the same. It's not the same. So there's just something different. It was something good about getting. I could just think about one subject, and I could just be on this forum. I can be diving deep for hours about this one topic. I could find out everything about my car, see people modifying it, get inspiration, etc., etc. And I think that's kind of been lost in the modern internet. And with Aquari, given what we're doing, I think it'll be really beautiful to bring that back. So I'm rambling. Sorry for the nostalgia, but yes. So decentralized social network. Binance wants a decentralized social network as a challenge. Now, I don't think we're gonna go build a whole decentralized social network, but what they essentially want is they want developers to build social platforms using BNB Greenfield technology. That Now, while Aquari doesn't need Greenfield per se, for our forums, a centralized database would work. It doesn't hurt, to change that roadmap and basically attach it onto Greenfield. And that's what we decided to do. In the middle of actually building, using a traditional Postgres database, we decided, actually, no, 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 no. If Binance is giving money in order to do this, we should build it using Greenfield. So that is the good news I want to bring to you. And I honestly think, it will be a knock out of the park, because we actually have users. The last time I checked Privy, we actually have about 343 monthly active users. So that's really good. So that means we build this Okay, obviously a lot of people are going to be lurkers, but I could say if we build this, we can at least get 50, regular active users on these forums. And if we can show the utility that, hey, DAOs need these decentralized platforms to actually coordinate, I mean, that's like a perfect win. And what's good about this is, if we build this and even with the hackathon, if we win, the product that we've kind of built can actually be spun off into another product offering. So that's actually something to think about. That could also be something that uh, Binance would want to pour more money into. Basically like old internet forums were run on like vBulletin, PHBBB. This is like old stuff. But I'm essentially thinking there's a chance that Binance is like, hey, Aquari, we like what you're doing, but not just from the Aquari context, but can you make that open source and have a subsidiary company that offers forums to other DAOs? We'd love to support you with that. So, like I said, that's just the mind thing, but basically, mid development, Machina decided, no, 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 don't build it with a regular database. We're gonna build it on Greenfield. Binance is gonna love it. And the thing is I think it will be a highly win because it's very easy for developers to build on BSC, but building on Greenfield, there's probably only like 100 people on the planet that A, know about Greenfield's existence, B, want to actually build something serious on it, and 3, actually have users, to actually use it. And then 4, knowing about the hackathon. If we add knowing about the hackathon as something, that's probably only like 5 people. A lot of you, I don't know if you saw the previous entries into the previous hackathon. Most of the developers don't build fully fledged, ironed out, ready to go to market products. So that's an advantage we have there. So that is the main update. We're basically going to use these next 24 days and build a decentralized forum platform. It's internally for Aquari, but the code can also be ripped out and used for other DAOs if need be, and can be monetized, and we will enter that as our submission. So that is that. The prizes are all the same, etc., etc. But that is the hackathon. So yeah, I don't need to go into any more details on that, but we have to send in our application by the 25th, so that's in 3 days. Workshops are workshops, but the winner announcements will be on May 31st. And actually, yeah, the winners, they'll be incubated by Binance from May 31st to June. So if we were a winner, then this would be when Aquari team actually is spending a month with Binance team and doing these backroom talks on like, hey, how to take what has been built, go forward. And if that happens, that's obviously when speculative price goes up. So we'll see. Good thing to hope, but this is good because it's on the roadmap. It's something we can actually easily do, and Binance gets benefit because they actually have a case study. I've explained BNB Greenfield. Website redesign is overdue. This was said in the last AMA, but because I have to travel out to Pakistan, it's delayed. But basically, right now, everyone is saying website timeline is outdated. It's true. And the website is our main marketing material. Originally, before, we didn't foresee a pump happening. We just thought we were going to be at like 60K market cap for the next 5 months, sometime in June, July. The bull market would have came back early, but hey, the bull market came back earlier than that. So now that we've pumped, we have to worry about price again, and that obviously means marketing. So, we were like, hey, originally, like, hey, we're gonna be low. The website's the website. Let's just the people that matter, they're in the chat already. Let's just build the product. But now we need to actually get our website redesigned. This website is outdated. It only talks about us in 2021, about the general direction we wanted to go before we had clear vision of what we were going to build. So it talks about Aquari as a token, but not as an ecosystem, not even as a product. All of this needs to be redone. Content needs to be redone so that, you know, a user can come in and get the message that, hey, this is an on-chain environmental conservation org. Here's the app. Oh my goodness, here's this community coordinating in a forum. This is actually a true DAO. And these guys want to actually build clean to earn so that they can actually create jobs in emerging markets and create a decentralized waste management company. Oh my goodness, this is bullish. Let me click buy. All of that narrative, people discover, you know, if they enter into our Telegram and ask questions. But right now, if you're just a speculative buyer, you just Google Aquari. No one even knows what that is. And we are losing money because of it. And we are losing potential customers because of it. And since we've pumped, I recognize the importance of having a good marketing funnel. Our sales funnel is very leaky. We're leaking a lot. We're going to redo this website and patch the holes. So that's actually happening over these next 2 weeks. So sorry. And it will include a CMS. So that way, when a community member is like, hey, can we change this? I can just assign a regular community member to manage those changes. So the change can happen instantly. Right now, the current website, it was made by a freelancer, and he did not give us the compiled. He gave us the compiled source code in HTML. We don't have the original project source. So, you know, he did that as a way to, you know, make sure he still has like revenue coming in from us, but we stopped paying him because, yeah, it just didn't make sense when we were going into the bear market. So, yeah, Matcha and I are going to rebuild this website in a way where we know the entire source. We can change things in like 30 seconds. And there will be a CMS so that it doesn't even have to be us. It could just be, we can have a community webmaster that is focused on the content and how that's delivered. So before I go in, this is the any questions, but we don't need to do questions yet. I'm going to go in and demo you what we have with the forums so far and show you what this UI is going to look like. So right now, because Mache is not with us, you know, he's the backend developer. The live database is not on yet. And since we poured our efforts into going into Greenfield, I only have my local database. So the UI is everything. The UI is final and everything, but the posts are not what's like actually like live on the server. So just ignore that. But when I upload the updates, you guys will be able to add posts and everything, and talk amongst yourselves and just test it out. The version that's going to be online here is just for us to test in to see how everything is going, see if there's like, hey, moderator features we need to add and whatnot. But the truly live version is going to be the Greenfield version, and that's what's going on with the hackathon. So let's go see what we have, guys. So this is the app. This is my embedded wallet associated with my social account. But as you can see, this page is fully responsive. Fully responsive. This is the mobile view. And this page, I'll actually do it with this level of width. Just looks better. We have all these animations. Everything says cleanup helpers. Like I said, it's just copied and pasted right now because that's a lot of text, you know, and you don't even know what's the final thing. But this is the home page for the community in the forum. So we can see we list by the forum, and you got threads, 148 threads, posts, 1,768 posts. The last post is this. This is all fake data right now because the server's not online. And the titles, all these would be unique titles and whatnot, and description. So, and these are tabs. So for example, we can have general discussion. It's like here we can talk about governance. Here we can talk about product suggestions. Here we can talk about, hey, just like for fun, just general talk. Here we could potentially have, hey, countries, acquired by countries, Netherlands, India, United States, etc. Here we can just say like just miscellaneous, like movies, film, cars, financial markets, just talking about a place to talk with fellow Aquarians about crypto in general, etc., etc. We can sort by basically categories. So if I click on a thread, well, this is not a thread. These are not the threads. These are the actual like form categories. So for example, this one would be, hey, I'll say this one. This one's like, hey, the Netherlands. So these are different threads in the Netherlands chat. So it could be like, hey, um, is anyone in Amsterdam willing to have a cleanup? Title, description, started by which Aquari user? You'd have a username associated with it, and you can see the amount of replies, how many people viewed it, what posted last. I'm actually gonna have a who posted last too. This one can be, oh, it's lonely out here. I'm looking for new friends. This one could be, for example, hey, I run a video game arcade. I would love to have an Aquari meetup where people video games, etc. This one can be, I run a shirt shop here. Does anyone want custom Aquari merch? I could come make it, etc., etc. And yeah, if someone's like, hey, yeah, I want an Aquari shirt, it's like, yeah, sure, let me see. Come and click. Again, sample data right now. We only have one user in the sample database, but when the app is live and you guys are demoing it, you'll be able to see all your individual user profiles and do it. I would actually show you the user profiles right now, but the server needs to be up for that. So what would happen is you would click here and it would show up, like say this was my profile, Mach's profile. You click on it, you would see his profile, you'd see his NFTs, so you can see his prestige of how good of an experience. You can see how many cleanups he's attended, etc., etc. He has a bio, and right now there won't be a DM feature, but in the future you'll add a private message. It's going to be a whole social network and whatnot. But as of right now, you just have the forms, so just posting. So this is sample data. What you can do actually here is you can actually come and reply. So this is replying to this specific post. This is Latin, just for the sample, but I could say, hey, Mache, I love what you're doing. I see that you own a t-shirt shop. I live in, why am I forgetting? I live in Rotterdam and would love to stop by and see what you have. I'm actually willing to spend $20 on a shirt. And to be honest, hold on. To be honest, how do I say? To be honest, I have 20 friends that I love to buy as well. What material are your shirts and are hoodies possible? Sorry for my bad grammar. I'm not trying to optimize for that right now. And you can click submit. The server's offline, so this post won't show. There's no permanence, but you click submit, boom. What would happen is you see how this is the rules. This would say post would come down here and they would say like a response, and it would have the title of whatever this specific one was. But yeah, you don't, sorry, let me look at I have enough memory. Yeah, and then you'd be able to tell, oh, it's from this user, he's responding to this, and it would be right here. And everyone could just keep coming and talking, and you can have this entire linear discussion, and the original poster who basically runs the t-shirt shop is going to make some money. Okay, and basically the beautiful thing is no one had to go in the Telegram chat and be like, hey, Mache and Cameron, I run a t-shirt shop. I would love to. Like, no, you just get on the forum, you put it out there. You're going to be empowered to actually coordinate with these people, Aquarians yourself, and get things done. And think about it. This is just one thread. There could be hundreds of these conversations happening at the same time, and people are coming in a decentralized manner and coordinating. And obviously, this form is not in isolation. So hold on. So you can also create a thread. You can create a title. Actually, I'll click submit. See, I've programmed, yeah, please submit the field you need to. So let's say, cleanup in Rotterdam is needed. Rallying troops. Answer by April 30th. You know, it could be that, and then you would have your body, which I'm not going to type out. Right now, the body's just going to have plain text. In the future, what we will implement when we have more engineering time is, you know, rich text fields. I don't know if you know how you can add bold, italic, turning links, adding images. That will be added here as well. But for now, we're just going to have plain text, keep things simple. You know, we'll build all these things iteratively. You know, text is powerful in of itself. So then you click submit. And again, the server's offline right now. Mach is gone. But the thread would, well, actually, no, it's a form. So the thread would appear right here at the top. And because this is the most recent, the thread put in the most recent who posted, you know, and since this was a new thread and it just got posted, it would appear up here right now. So yeah, very simple. It's a very simple offering, but basically what I'm going to have you guys do is you're just going to go out and you guys are going to bow test this thing with the web 2, and if everything checks out, then what's going to happen is for this hackathon, Macha and I are going to convert all of this code into BNB Greenfield so that the data, you know, instead of being on, you know, Mache's server at Aquari HQ right now where we could go and just edit your posts at will. No, it's going to be uploaded onto the blockchain. It's permanent and everything is, yeah, there permanently. Also, one other thing I wanted to add is it's not shown because again the server is not up, but there are page routes. So this would be, instead of, this is my local machine, so that's why it's an isolated environment. But when it's, you know, online, it would actually be, you know, aquari.org slash forum slash let's say Netherlands. Why can't I spell Netherlands slash post ID equals blah blah blah. So what's good about this is basically, oh, here I can just do this real quick. So yeah, so when you come to this page and how there's a thread, it'd actually have a link like this, and you can just copy it, and you can come into the Telegram. Hold on. Sorry, you can just come to the Telegram, paste. This doesn't exist right now, so it'll give you an error. But when you click on that, what's going to happen is it would take you to this page. And what's powerful about that now is in the future now, if we're coordinating about a cleanup and everything, if we're coordinating about a cleanup, sorry, hold on, give me a second. If we're coordinating a cleanup now, instead of saying, hey, go to the Telegram, and this person has to scroll through 5,500 messages to find when like 3 hours ago we were having a talk about this, and that's just too much work. That's too much work. People can't keep up. Instead, someone comes to Telegram and be like, hey, where's a discussion about the Belgium cleanup happening? Okay, well, they can either come here manually, there'll be like a cleanup section or something, or they can go to Belgium's country chat, see, oh, here it is, and navigate manually, or they can just come to the Telegram and someone can just drop them that link and say, hey, we're discussing this here. Here's a thread. Now you click the thread, boom, everything regarding that cleanup right there, easy, boom, no more headache, you know, everyone's happy, and it's all good. No matcha and camera needed. This all can be, you guys can all coordinate, show up in person. All that matcha I need to do is, get on the call with you, one of you guys, hear you out, see that the thread, everything was organically coming up about. There's enough community members happening that we have enough trust to think you're not going to go below the budget. You'd have a budget proposal. We just sign off on it, send the money, and entrust whatever team or people who organically came together do that to execute that cleanup. Cleanup gets done. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, now content's being generated. And, this isn't just having to, we don't have to be running this stuff at one at a time. We can be, this can be happening in many countries, many different cities at, on asynchronous time. So long as the money's there, so long as the content is generated, so long as we think there's going to be an ROI, it gets signed off. One last thing I wanted to mention, as a capability, is the ability to, when you make a thread, certain threads can actually be linked with Aquavote. So the thing is there can be, what I'm thinking is there's, right now, when we pushed the discussion about Malhar into the public sphere, that caused a huge price impact. And the thing is, sorry, my computer's actually 12%. Give me a moment. Yes. So, that was really bad. That was a good experiment, but that was really bad because, in the financial world, usually topics like that comes out, at like a quarterly board meeting that people phone in and listen to. It's like, oh, what's the news? And then, price will go up and down. But, since it's the crypto and markets are 24/7, and since we're trying to be a DAO, okay, well, basically now you're getting that uncertainty of the democratic process taking place in the public sphere. And that's going to cause, price to fluctuate because people, it's money, so people are trying to time news and whatnot. So, that's a problem, especially when we were pumping and a lot of money, new money, and is speculative money, right? So, obviously, Telegram chat is not the best place to have democratic discussions on how to spend DAO money. So, Mach and I have decided, hey, this discussion still needs to take place, but we should move this to the forums. So what will happen is there will be a Aquari general category, and there will be like governance, Aquari governance. This is a forum. You click on it. There will be a thread. There will be a thread linked to every vote proposal you see here on Aquavote. And this page will get a revamp. I'm just letting you know that we're building everything back and forth as things come. The Aquavote and forums will be interlinked in terms of functionality. But basically, you can see a proposal thread. People can talk. So if you wanted to, this will be the official place to talk about a proposal, voice your opinion. This can go on for as many pages and as many posts as need be. And that way we can ban, I don't want to say arguments, but we can ban discourse about these decisions in the public chat. People can talk about them, but we're not going to have this back and forth where people are, being really emotional in public, because that just causes price to fluctuate, and that's not good. Thing is, this will still be public. Again, this will have a post ID, so people are like, hey, where are we talking about this proposal? Community members are like, hey, here's the link. Boom, go post. And what's good about this is if a community member wants to, what this does is this increases engagement in our app, which is really good. It's a really good metric to have. So it's still accessible. It's still public. It's just if you're a speculator, there are people that buy Aquari but they never even open the stupid app. At least this way, this allows us to filter. The people that are speculating and aren't keeping up with everything, they don't get freaked out. They can trust that things are still getting done. And the people that want to be more involved, okay, well, you're gonna have to go open the app and you're gonna have to go have the discourse where the discourse is happening. And what's really good about this is we'll be able to actually see how we'll track views here. Yeah, we'll be able to track, yeah, like how popular are different topics. We can get an idea of like, hey, has 5% of the community seen this, or has all the community seen this topic, etc., etc., etc. So this is going to be ground zero. This is when things get interesting because when this is done, yeah, I can truly say that we are on the first step of being a DAO because yeah, we'll have the buy Aquari, people can sell, everything's good. People can coordinate in a decentralized way and we can vote, you know? So, yes, that is that. So, yes, I will go now and open up. Actually, before I open up the questions, let me just show you guys what this looks like with a mobile layout. So, yeah, same thing. Actually, you know, I can actually reply to this one. Still scroll. Your phone keyboard, etc. I'll show you the new thread. New thread. If contents of this is you can also cancel. So yeah, so this is the Force platform. Simple, but trust me, once we add Greenfield onto it, Binance is gonna love it because hey, well, people are actually coordinating cleanups, decentralized manner. Oh wow, they're posting pictures, they're talking. Okay, yes, good. So yes, this is it. So any questions? This is where you can ask me any question you guys would like to have. I'll give it one minute. No way, guys. Come on, there has to be some questions. There's always questions. Interesting. Wow. Ah, the lag is a couple minutes. Okay, no worries, no worries. Thank you, guys. So, will there be an option to translate the text? Yes. Yes, 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 yes. So, we do have an international community, and given the fact that, you know, a lot of our Aquarians, once the clean to earn rolls out, we're gonna start having Aquarians that are right now we only have Aquarians that are like crypto native or trying to speculate on the financial upside of that. But after my work here in Pakistan is done, and when we roll into India as well, we're gonna start having Aquarians that are from the labor side of the equation, where it's like, hey, like thank you guys for giving me, a gig economy job, where I can like, be in control of my hours and just show up to the cleanup and, make a living. We're gonna have Aquarians like that from these countries, and obviously you're gonna want Hindi, you're gonna want Urdu, and you're gonna want every other language that comes with every other future country that we enter into. Um, Especially since we have a huge Dutch community. Yes, translations will be added, and actually that'll be quite easy, actually. But I'm just building everything out in English first because when we added translations, it's kind of, you want to see what the how the app is finished, like all the sections are, so that way whatever translation solution I use and build into the app, it can just like read through everything and treat the data as similar and just translate page by page. So yes, translation will be added, but I think I'll be honest with you, that feature you won't see that feature until all the tabs that you see here. This wiki, that's another thing. The wiki is gonna be written. We're actually gonna have that written out. But yeah, when the wiki, the forum, the buy acquire, the DAO financial dashboard, cleanup map, staking, all of that, when all this is like done, bingo, we'll have a translator. When base network. Yes, so base network is 100% on the roadmap because look, I'm American, and the thing I kept saying this before, but Americans just don't. I don't know what the bias is. I think the bias is just because the Binance ecosystem is not truly decentralized. But to be quite honest, Solana is not super decentralized either. My suspicion is that Americans, the Web3, there are two Web3 camps. You got the super, basement dweller developers with the neckbeards that are pro decentralization. Nothing wrong with that, but they're ideologues, and they have this opinion that if it ain't decentralized, it's worthless. It's nothing. It's terrible. Terrible use of crypto. Goodbye. Or you have the Silicon Valley, Bay Area types with the VCs. Well, you have the entrepreneurs and startups. I kind of fall into this category, but like not so much, given that I didn't build this part not raising from a VC and being super enmeshed in those networks. I raised from the community. This is a grassroots project. But the Bay Area, Silicon Valley VC types or startup founder types where it's like the VCs have billions of dollars to deploy, and then the founders are like trying to mold their idea into a way that will convince the VC, align with whatever narrative the VCs are allocated those funds to, and in order to convince the VC to separate themselves from the money and invest in them. Solana as a chain fits this. Obviously, I'm doing a disservice. I'm sure that the founding team, had their own story and volition of why they wanted to build it, but yeah, the way it happened and the way it scaled is that team, got in contact with some VCs, made some good relationships, and the VCs were like, yeah, this is a good thing to build, and they gave the Solana Foundation however many millions. They built it out over a couple years, and they got to a minimum viable level. Now the bear market's over. Those VCs are pumping. They started the pump by injecting more capital, artificially starting that, and that causes retail to FOMO in, and so that's what you're going in with now. And that's why you see Solana being showed so much everywhere. And one thing about Solana, I'm not trying to put FUD on Solana, but one interesting thing about Solana is, I forget the exact percentage, but I think it's like 30 to 50% of the token supply is allocated to insiders, like venture capital investors. So the thing is, once the price gets to a certain level, those VCs will dump. They will dump. Now I don't know how those tokens should be being unlocked like right about now, but Just be wary. You should guys should do some googling on that. Like, go look up the insider token supply of different like L1 blockchains. You'd be quite surprised. But um, yeah, the whole sidetrack I gave there is basically Americans don't support a chain unless it's pro decentralization because you're with those nerds. Not that I'm a nerd, but you know what I mean. Those ideologues. Or this chain needs to be backed by capitalist VC money, And so because now the system is promoting it, now that's how you get what I mean. That's how the things get popular, and yeah, like that's just what it is. So Binance is not Binance, being with CZ, even though it's the largest crypto exchange, Americans. It's not anything. Binance is banned in America, so we have our own like siloed ecosystem. So base network is priority because without, if you just stay on BNB, just the way the American system is it's even for me. I can't directly buy BNB here. No exchange here does that. I have to go through like 5 steps to get assets on BNB chain or off of BNB chain to me, and the average crypto user is not going through those steps. So we need base network to get that American capital in, and also the credibility. One of the main reasons why we haven't like gone faster is even though we're building and everything. And if I was in Dubai, for example, okay, I'm building on BNB chain, I'm taken seriously. I think even Europe too. I don't even think they would really care. But in America, for some reason, if you're building on BNB chain, you might as well be building on like training wheel Play-Doh chain, because the VCs don't like it because oh, you're not buying my layer one that I'm funding, whether that be Aptos, Sway, Solana, etc., etc. Or you go to the crypto native folk, you're like, bro, you're not a real crypto builder. You're building on truly decentralized. You're building on centralized chain, which I just find funny because Americans are cool with a centralized chain if it's VC backed. So sorry for that whole rant, but I'm just telling you what I've like discovered. So base is on the roadmap, but the thing is like I said, right now we're building the app. It's not easy to manage 2 infrastructures. You'll see base when the app is completed, and it's like, hey, we need to get that American money in. So let's like go build on base, and we'll start to be able to advertise multi-chain infrastructure. So it comes after V2 basically, because if we're gonna build on base, I have to make a bridge token. We can't bridge the V1 token, so we'll have to engineer the V2 token to have multi-chain bridging in mind. Great presentation, Cam. Has there been approaches to clean up groups to test the Aquari app? So right now, I'm just working on the Pakistan cleanup. This is just a test for me to see, hey, if we're doing cleanups internally and then having this weekly, like what is required system wise to get this done? That's like a model for me. What I was thinking is I was gonna take what I learned from that experience of working for Khan to build cleanups and then having that regularly happen. I was gonna take those findings from that and then use that as inspiration in the app to like make a user interface to like, hey, actually that's another thing. My apologies is like Teams. So I'm debating how I want to do the interface, but in the cleanup map, what's gonna happen is you can see the cleanup. So people can, for example, people can propose a cleanup here, aqua vote. People are like, hey, do we vote on yes, having the cleanup? It passes through aqua vote. Once it passes through aqua vote, the cleanup will show up on a cleanup map 30 days before. People can RSVP. They can click on the cleanup map. They can see the cleanup. They can see who's going, etc., etc. They click on the profiles of who's going, and then you can choose to RSVP. And the way it will be is like, hey, if you want to do clean to earn, you got to be one of the first like 10 to 20, 30 people, depending on how many people we can afford to pay out for that specific cleanup. You got to be one of these first people to RSVP, and those people can RSVP. Boom, if you're one of them, okay, now you're enabled for clean to earn rewards. You show up, you have your phone, the app will sync, make sure, hey, everyone here is like legit, etc., etc. And you do the cleanup. App will track if you're there all day. If you're there all day, you're on the winning team. Boom, you get the rewards. Losing team gets rewards, but I think it's like we've agreed on 70% of the total rewards to the winning team, 30% of the cleaning to earn allocated rewards go to the losing team. And the reason we do it that way is to have an incentive, because what's stopping people from coming up from a cleanup and not doing work? We want each individual person to be working so you can extract as much value as possible. I'm sorry, hey, this is money, capitalism. Yeah, sorry. But yeah, if we do it in teams, then we believe that in theory, each team's there's inevitably gonna be, there's 30 people on the team, but then like maybe say 4 of them are slackers. Then the rest of the team members are gonna look at those slackers and police them and be like, hey, I'm here to win. I didn't drive all the way here to, lose. You better start doing some work or go away. And they can go complain to whoever's, the moderator for that cleanup, the referee, and the referee can note, hey, these 4 individuals are like slacking. Don't exclude them from the clean to earn rewards, something like that. That way we don't get like freeloaders. You know what I mean? That's something that has been thought of. So, in terms of approaches to groups, that hasn't been thought of. We're basically going as we go. I'll be able to use the Pakistan cleanup as like inspiration to go about designing what that looks like. But what you can see is that basically you'll go to cleanup map. Cleanup will show up after discussion. Aqua vote passes. Boom, cleanup's there. You can RSVP and you can actually have groups there. So maybe we can make a feature like if you played video games, you can have like a clan or like a squad. I mean, we can have a squad where you and your friends sign up together, and it can be like you can be like a party. I don't know. That's up for debate. We can come and talk. But that is the goal. Is basically people gonna be segmented in different groups, and they can have threads where they can coordinate logistics amongst themselves, and that way, yeah, you don't need Montreal as an intermediary anymore. That way, things will move faster. Especially, yeah, we have a Dutch community. You guys are very industrious, so I'm pretty sure once that's in place, it's just a matter of flying. Because we have been holding you back, but we do that because of the trust argument I laid out earlier today in the chat. Because if we mess up, if we trust the wrong person, it's like, hey, that's gonna affect price. So when can we expect cleanup footage in Pakistan? So yes, I would say mid-May. Aim for mid-May. Aim for May 15th. That is when you should have it. Right now, shirts are getting printed. Yeah, but mid-May, that should be out. And is there plans to have the app? What is this? I can't read this. Hold on, guys. Sorry, hold on. I need to expand my chat. Yes, good question. Good question. Good question. So, app will go into the Google Store easily. There's no problem with that. But there is an issue with the Apple Store. The reason is that Apple, they have a firm policy of that any financial transaction that happens in the App Store requires a 30%. They need to take 30% cut of whatever is being done, and that works for Web 2. But Apple has been forward thinking in like Web 3. So what does that mean? If someone buys Aquari in app, Apple needs 30%. Well, historically, Apple has deemed that, yes, that is the case. Is that if someone is going to go buy Aquari tokens in your app using the App Store, Apple deserves 30% cut of that. So that makes no sense. Because what? You're gonna pay Aquari 10% tax plus Apple 30%. Like, so what? Now you're paying 40%. If you pay $1,000, like you only get $600 of Aquari. Yeah, it doesn't make sense. So, um, App Store, no, for now until they can change their features. Because yeah, they basically are like any impact in-app payments not gonna happen. And the thing is, you need in-app payments here because okay, what happens if you're doing a blockchain transaction? Yeah, they're like we need 30%. So I'm like, okay, that's why you don't really see many. How do you say? You don't really see mobile apps for these things except unless they're like a big exchange or something. So like Binance gets away with it because they're like a financial institution, blah, blah, blah. But then like they got the lawyers and paperwork and everything to submit to Apple. We don't have that. Like Apple's just not. There's a burden of proof that Apple's gonna want, and yeah, what we have right now, they're just gonna say no, unless we're willing to spend like you know $20,000 to like yeah do that. So short term, no. However, there are these things called progressive web apps. And progressive web apps are basically web applications like you see right here, but it can be stored as an app. So even though this is a web app right here, it is actually possible for me to turn this into a progressive web app, which basically means if you go to a progressive web app on an iPhone, you basically, how you can save a web page to your home screen. You can save this to the home screen, but the way it works is it's not just like saving the web page like a web browser. What it will do is it will make an app icon on your home screen, and when you click on it, it will open up this like an app. There will be no URL bar. It will just be this. It will be like an offline app, and it'll have the Aquari logo. So what's in the roadmap right now is I'm going to turn this web app into a progressive web app, and once that's done, there will be an instruction guide on how to basically add this progressive web app to your mobile device. And from your perspective, what that would look like, it's just a 5-second thing you do, and when you do it, it would literally be a Aquari logo there. You click on it, this opens up like an app, no browser mumbo jumbo. It's like yeah. So to answer your question, yes, there will be an app, but you wouldn't download from the web store or the app store. You'd go to our website, you click a button, and it would let you save it to your home screen. But from your perspective, the installation would be a bit weird, but once it's installed, it's like a regular app. You just open it and everything is here. So sorry for the long explanation. I'm just doing it technical for the technical guys out there. But yes, you will have a phone app for this. This app right here will be the app for your phone. I just haven't added the feature that lets you make it look like an app on your phone yet. But once I get to it, you will. So it's not just a browser app. Yes, you will have an app, a phone mobile app. Okay, guys, I think those are all the questions. So what's gonna happen is right now the server's offline, Machi's gone, but we're gonna bring the server online. You're gonna see this update. I will actually post in the chat when that's up. And yeah, go test this out. Please tell me if you run into any bugs. And we're gonna enter this new hackathon. You're gonna see a Pakistan cleanup happening this month. Aimed for mid-May. Working with Furkan on that. We'll finally get some content so we can actually start pumping, and yeah, we'll actually have a way for this community to coordinate, and hopefully Binance likes what we've built here using their BNB Greenfield technology, and yeah, we actually win. and get incubated by them. So I will leave it at that, guys. That is your current AMA. Stay tuned. Hope you all have a good evening.